Hi everyone, it's Val here at Crafts by You. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. Today I'm going to start a series that I'm hoping will go quickly because I don't have a lot of time left. But that means if it goes quick for me, it goes quick for y'all. And you have the privilege of hitting that gear button and 2x in the video if I'm talking too slow. But here's what we're getting at. First, let's take a pause for the cause and acknowledge our Scentsy wax for the evening, summer holiday. It's back. It smells great. You're going to want to sniff this. If you want to sniff it, let me know, okay? You know how to get in touch with me. That out of the way, what is this all about? I don't do Valentine's or other holidays for the most part, but they do trigger for me a remembrance of things that I want to do for my family. We do stuff for each other all the time. But it also is a time when I can go afterwards and get fun stuff on clearance. Now, I did get this in advance, but I have tons of other things out there. Like this pom-pom garland. It's like, I love pink. I don't so much love red. But pink and red together, it does something for me. But yeah, like you start collecting all these little finds and things. And that's whether you do the holidays or not. And I want to make stuff with them. And one of the things I wanted to make had to do with this, listening to the great teacher. It was a publication that I grew up with, a Bible-based publication that really just helped us as kids think about Bible principles in our life. And this publication was just like one of the most memorable for me. But in the 80s, they came out with this actual case. And this case was special. For those who know, they know. But let me show you why. Because when you opened it, you didn't just get a book. You also got the cassette tapes. This is straight vintage, but I loved it so much. And this one's like new old stock, basically. Never used, untouched. But for the ones that were used, they looked like these. So just looking at this, you can see there's like 3 variations from them. And this one's super old. This one's kind of old. And like I said, this one's new old stock. But it's funny because when you look at this, you would not think you're going to get like a hot pink book coming out of this case. But that's what was in there. So I wanted to take this and take something that instead of me just hoarding it, holding on to it for forever and needing to dust it, that I could share with my nieces. I have 2 I'm thinking about doing this for in particular, because the other ones, I don't think they're going to be interested right now. But I thought, oh, I'll make one for me and I'll make one for each of them. So I wanted to show you that in particular because this particular book is falling apart. And a lot of times when we do these books, they do have some sort of spine. Even if we're going to just expand this, there's some kind of spine there. This one, though, it's just like, yeah, no. You just see the signatures and the cloth that's glued on there. So I thought that I would just kind of walk you through me doing my test book, which will be my own. And, man, look at that. Y'all, Tim Holtz, Eat Your Heart Out. Like, this is just the real distress for real. Like, yeah. And check this. You see this green page? Like, let's see if this one's super green in here. Oh, look at the difference. Oh my God, this is why you love old books. You gotta love that. So anyway, I want to make them, journals, and this is where we'll start. So I want to show you guys that. However, I'm also going to use these cassette tapes and do a cassette journal. So these may be ones that I might put in my shop, but I'll let you all know. The idea, though, is that I want you all to go in your house, go find somebody. If you get too young to know, go ask your mama and go ask your grandmama. Somebody got some cassette tapes, but cassette tapes or even 8 tracks. I also have some 8 tracks. I'm probably going to do it with that. I'll probably end up putting extras up in the shop just in case you don't want to hunt down a bunch of them or you just want one or one particular theme. I'll put that in there maybe with some of the materials you'll need. But I've been wanting to do this for a long time, so we're going to do it with these hot pink tapes, baby. Yeah. So that's going to be an extra part of this. So hopefully maybe 2 videos. Maybe it'll take us to get through this, and then we'll move on to the cassettes. But keep an eye on this series if you guys are interested, okay? So the way I'm gonna start with this, oh my goodness, don't be mad if I do books different every time, okay? Let me just start with this one. I don't need two. One's enough. With this one, I started pulling out some fabrics that I thought would be kind of cute to cover the spine with. And remember, I've got 3 books eventually to do, so and 3 books that are aged differently. So I just thought, okay, let me start pulling out some fabrics that I can use. Like this one says love on the side. But right now, that's not even the main part of this. The main part is getting something that's going to hold this book together. So for that, I have recycled envelopes here. So you can see that Tyvek. There's Tyvek tape. You could use fabric. But I want to start with this. And I decided that the spine would probably be about 1.5 inches or so. Let me grab this. So let's check it out. Let's see if you can see this. So yeah, well, there we go. Just shy of 1.5. You make it the size you want. It's going to depend on your book. So this one, the height is just pretty good. Works out to the size of the book. Slightly shorter. So that's good. I've got a piece of the Tyvek that gives me about 1 inch on each side. So if I put this down, we're just basically giving ourselves about 1 inch on each side. So it's at 3.5. All right. If you're doing a size similar to mine. All right. So got those things. I've got the strip of fabric. I've got the Tyvek. I got this. Let me find. I've got like 50 projects on my desk right now, and this is not even the desk I'm supposed to be crafting at. So you all figure out what's best for you. So we're gonna start here, and as you can see, it's like pretty gone, but we'll go ahead and cut down. Let's see. I don't know if it's easier for you to see this way or that way. Let's see what we're actually cutting here. That's cutting some of that netting. Doesn't matter. We're going to keep all the giblets anyway. And we're going to cover the inside of the book. I mean, I hate to lose this distress, but the kid put their name in the book. You can't be mad. And I don't know, but doesn't this kind of look like off of SpongeBob? I don't know what this is. All right, sorry, our front cover came off. And we're going to go to the back. Oh, my God. That's when you got those big Crayolas. All right, so I'm just cutting through there. We're good. So now we got those 2 pieces. All right. Just think of them sort of like when we do the canvas. That's another way to think of it. So I've got my guts. I'm going to use some of this as ephemera and building out the book. And so we'll keep these, but yeah, it's so nice and chunky. Baby chunk. Alrighty. Rose, we're going to upcycle your book. And so the premise here for me is going to be that I'm going to end up using 2 of these. Let me see if this other one is the same. That's about the same. All right. I'm going to essentially create the spine, right? On the outside, I do want my fabric to wrap around and be adhered to the book, but I know that that's, not going to be enough to keep it super strong. So really the goal is that I can adhere this, because this is rather thin too. Adhere this to some cardboard. We could just do it this way just to show you. Get this attached here. And then if you flip it to what would be the inside, we're going to put this Tyvek attached to the covers. Okay. Then I'm just kind of walking through all of the pieces for myself, not for y'all. Y'all are probably screaming at me right now. Then once we gather all of the insides of the book, the signatures, we're going to sew those signatures to this piece. And then this with those signatures, let's pretend, you know, something like this. This will then be glued in onto that Tyvek. So now we know that with that Tyvek, it's gonna provide for us a strong spine. But from the outside, we can have it decorative with the fabrics we want. Or if you wanted to do something in like hand embroider or something, whatever you wanted to do, you could do to it, right? So that's the direction I'm going in. I'm hoping that it'll work out just fine. For right now, I'm just gonna focus on getting this spine together, not this piece though, right? We have to have our insides for that. But getting this spine for the book together, and then coming up with what those inside pages are gonna look like. You know, so because we're gonna cover that, I'm gonna figure out for sure what I wanna use. And then from there, we can go right into getting the guts ready for the next go round. So essentially for your homework, I want you to have gotten your book, upcycled some Tyvek, or get some sort of a strong tape, book binding tape, whatever you really have in your stash. I mean, you could just get straight duct tape if you wanted to, honest to goodness. We're not talking about doing major damage to this, but I am going to start with just getting this glued in, and for that I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac. Let's see, is this the fabric that I want to use for this one, or do I want to do something chunkier, or do I want to use this for the other one? It's too many questions. This is When I Need You All Live. I like that hot pink and the brown, but I like this. I wish I had some green that color, because this is that teal. This is teal, this is green. I don't know if I want to decide on that yet. So I think I'm going to not decide. It's easier for me not to decide. Okay, so how am I going to start? I'm going to take this on the Priority Mail Express side, and I'll start with gluing this piece because it is going to be the outside. All right, so we said 3.5, and this is going to sit there. All right, so I'll get the Fabri-Tac. And hopefully, this will, you guys will have enough time to be able to gather maybe some book that you've been holding on to, that would be very much loved and cherished by someone you know. I think this is a good time to think about those types of makes. So we're gonna come in here, just center it where we've got that inch on each side. Okay, we're gonna get our covers, and I guess I need to take this off. I really hate to do that, but it's gonna be what's best. Oh, I hate to do it. I'm so sorry. All right, but these little giblets, we're gonna keep those. They won't be wasted. Alrighty, so just pull that extra out of there. And I think that's good enough for this, for the purpose of what we're doing. All right, so for the spine, I'm gonna say we've got that 1.5 inches that we're gonna put between it. I guess I can go like there, right there, or so. I think actually we're gonna need a little bit more space. Okay, so instead of worrying about the measurement, let's do it this way. We're gonna fold the pages up. We're going to put some glue on the back of this. But when we set it down, I do want to make sure that there is, and I'm trying to think, do I want this to push down this way or stay up? Good question. But we don't have to worry about that now, right? We're doing the inside and, well, do we pull this up or not? Nope, I'm not gonna worry about it. The fabric can cover that on the outside. But you see this line where you see the actual chipboard piece? Where you see that and you see this end, we want to keep the edge of this piece outside of that, really. Because if we push it all the way in, then with the closing, it could affect that. So let yourself have a little grace and a little space and do that. And so what I'm gonna do is line this up. It's gonna be on the inside here, okay? Stay right there. We're gonna take the Fabri-Tac and get that going. And then fold this over. And so you see, I think you can see down here, this is not pushed right up to this board. We still have that little gap of space. So we're just gonna push that down. I wanna kind of make sure it's flat. I wonder if I have that brayer. Brayer. Or if you got a bone folder, whatever you got. This is kind of a big brayer. I don't know. Let's see. All right. Okay. Are you sliding on me? Make sure you're centered. Yep, there we go. Okay. So let me check this one to make sure that edge. Okay, the edge, there's a little bit of a gap there. So let's get the tie back on this. Woo! Oh, we're gonna cover you up. What was the little character on SpongeBob? The starfish. That's what that looks like. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. So we still have our gap. I just wanna smush it down. Alrighty. I just kind of want that to be smooth underneath. And let's take a look at it on the back side. So the only reason for me with putting this extra piece is just to keep it relatively about the same thickness as this. Because then again, we'll come back. And you could just wait for your strips at the end when it's time to decorate to see just how much width you need. So these were some that I just kind of started with, but I can absolutely go back and just make them a little bit wider. In fact, though, once we've got this one on here. Oh, well, that was going to be the one. You guys, I put this one on the inside. That's not the way it needed to go. It should have went here, right? Okay, well, we'll just make another one. All right, so for this one, I'm going to go ahead and stick it in. I know y'all are probably hollering. Don't do it. You're screwing up. You're not doing what you said. But there's no one way to do it, right? So we'll just go ahead and put this one there. All right. Okay. And that'll be fine because these pieces are so thin. Anyway, they're not gonna hurt. They're not gonna hurt. But you see it gives us that little gap. So we'll have room. The book will have some flex to it. And we've got our spine. All right. So normally you don't put that piece in until you're ready to do your hidden spine because it's attached. But since I'm backwards and, you know, can't talk and think at the same time, It is what it is, but it's still okay. All right. So we'll let this get dry. I'll go figure out my papers, and I hope you all meet me back so we can work more on this. Go ahead and, like I said, get your book up to this point at least. Get your inside pages, what you'd like to put down. I've got to find some things here. Find the fabric maybe that you would like for your spine, and pull out those papers that you're going to want to use. We're going to get those down to size. This would be a good time if you've got some printables that you have. Like, for example, let me find some of mine. Like, I have a few of these with those pink and red colors. So I'll come in here, and these are from Pink Paper Peppermints from Melissa. But whatever you've got in your craft room, just grab those papers. And don't forget, if you really want space for them to journal, that you make sure you add in enough blank paper, or maybe just dyed paper for those too. So depends on how you want to, what you're gifting it to them, you know, to use as. But hey, don't go anywhere just yet. Might be too late, but thought I should mention this to you all. I was going on and getting the end papers and figuring out what fabric I was going to use. And in doing that, I thought about a few things that would possibly be helpful for this first video. One would be that when you're doing your end papers and everything, you know, just see what your edges are looking like. Depends on the book, right? Like, that's why there's not one way of doing this. But mine were squared, so I'm just kind of leaving it there. And even though here it may seem like this is going to be in the way, I'm not going to worry about rounding these or anything, because this is going to get covered up. But speaking of which, when you pick your fabric, when I first started, I thought I was going to use some chunky or thick fabric, right? Like, I thought I would use this, which is really kind of like layered up and stitched, or I thought maybe I'd use some Chanel. But I wanted to show you why at first I was just thinking about this piece for the outside. If you've got something this thick, right, you're not gonna want to be wrapping this. But I wanted to just remind you all that for thinner fabrics, just a cotton or something, make your piece, find a piece long enough that you can just go on and wrap. And so, you know, once you do that, you'll get it centered, hopefully. I'll pull this here. You'll get this centered and, you know, stretch it out, line it up, and, you know, take your iron or your little heat press or something, and, you know, fold this piece, fold an end so it's not just that raw end. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but if you know, if you want it to just have more of a tight look, tuck that in underneath, and then go ahead and, I mean, if you really were serious with the pattern and wanted to line it up, you could do that, but I ain't trying to work that hard. But just kind of find out where you're going to want that to be. And that's going to be what's going to be decoratively laying over onto your end papers, or the papers on the end of the book, and that will cover this up. And just make sure that when you go to put your glue in there, get some off into that seam, and then as you're doing this and you're kind of stretching your fabric over it, make sure to take your bone folder or the end of your scissors or something, and just push the fabric down into that glue so that you get a tight, you know, fit. In fact, I wouldn't even so much worry about putting glue past that point. Just make sure you get it in there, and this is stuck in there, and this can, you know, kind of come off on the sides. But again, just wanted to share that with you, and have that bit of information. Isn't it wonderful when you can have videos like this where people are like just figuring it out along the way? Every book, like I say, every book's different. So that's kind of how I roll, because just when I know the proper way to do it, I find the book that didn't work for. So don't want this to be stressful crafting. We just kind of go with the flow, right? All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thumbs up if you can. Let me know things in the comment, what you thinking about, if you have those special books. And hopefully you guys are subscribed so you catch the next video of Plum Foolery. Love y'all. Thank you so much for taking your time and spending it with me. And definitely let me know what you're doing in the group. All those things are linked below. Talk to y'all later. See you next time.